Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Welcome back to HIVEMIND Unlimited.
And welcome to another episode of our movie series, How Did It Age? Where we watch older movies and reevaluate them with modern context. Today's film is a 2011 film called Moneyball. Take it away.
Oh, I got it.
Take it away. It's time for the context.
This is Moneyball. It's directed by Bennett Miller, and it stars the wonderful, the stunning Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill. It also has Philip Seymour Hoffman as a bald fat guy. Chris Pratt goes crazy on this, and we get a Spike Jonze appearance, which is really fun. It is a banger.
Yeah.
All around, universally beloved. It's 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.56% on IMDb. It's just going up while I'm talking. A 3.9% or 3.9 star on letterboxd. And Roger Ebert gave it a 4 out of 4 and said, baseball is a business. Only we as fans get to love it as a game.
Wow.
Which is a pretty badass thing to say.
That is awesome. I did want to just really quick, there are some disclaimers about the actors in this film. Philip Seymour Hoffman has passed away.
Yes.
Brad Pitt is a bad father.
Yes.
And Jonah Hill wouldn't let his girlfriend surf. So
Yeah.
those are just three. Keep them in mind when you think about it. But this is a movie, so it's not really about that.
I don't let my girlfriend surf either because she's such a fresh piece of meat. A shark might eat her. Anyway, it got 6 Academy nominations, including Best Actor for BP and Best Supporting for JH. It also got Sound and Mixing and Screenplay and Editing. It was all over the place, and I don't know how many it won. It is kind of based on the theories of Bill James, who is a writer, avid baseball and like historical fan. He started writing in like the late 70s about a statistical approach to the game, and that becomes Moneyball or Saber metrics, as we call it. Which is adopted by Billy Bean. We'll get into that more in your...
Yeah, I have a whole breakdown.
Yeah,
so.
let me just do a few more things.
Sure,
it was a successful movie. It made $110.2 million against a $50 million budget. And I'll do some other production notes after you set us up.
If you haven't seen this film or you haven't seen it in a while, first of all, join our Patreon.
Please.
It's only $5 a month, and you get to know about a week ahead of time what movie we're watching for this series. So when you watch these videos, they make sense. Okay, boom. Here's the plot of the movie. The Oakland Athletics are one of the poorest teams in baseball. After losing to the richest, the New York Yankees, in the 2001 ALDS, the A's 3 best players are poached by bigger budget teams. Their best, Jason Giambi, even leaving for the Yankees. Prior to the 2002 MLB season, Oakland's GM, former baseball player Billy Bean, attempts to get talent back on the roster by trading for the Cleveland Indians right fielder Kareem Garcia. The Indians decline this trade on the advice of a 25-year-old Yale graduate and new employee by the name of Peter Brand. Bean then confronts Brand, picks his brain, and steals him from the Cleveland Indians. Together, the two devise a new way to look at baseball. Rather than factoring in age, injury risk, and star power, they focus solely on statistics. They construct a roster that makes little sense to the league and even less sense to their front office and manager. After a rough start to the season, the Athletics go on a historic winning streak, proving many wrong. Although they lose in the first round of the playoffs, their strategy changes the game of baseball forever.
Yeah.
And it's also about his daughter and some other stuff, but that's the gist. Yeah, it's hard not to be romantic about baseball.
That's true. Yeah, the Peter Brand character that Jonah Hill portrays is based on Paul DePodesta, who was with the Indians, now the Guardians. Thank you. Racism's over. But fun thing there, Paul DePodesta is now the chief strategist for the Cleveland Browns and has been for the last 6 years.
Yeah?
Hasn't worked out there, but we're hoping.
He definitely isn't factoring in age, injury risk, or star power.
Yeah.
Up with the strategy over there.
Like I said, it was directed by Bennett Miller, who has only done 3 movies, and they're all really, really good, and they all kind of have a similar feel to them. It's Capote, Moneyball, and then he did Foxcatcher, which is the Steve Carell, Channing Tatum one.
Yeah.
They're all really good, and it's cool to just have a 3-piece out there. The screenplay comes from Aaron Sorkin, who you'll know from Cocaine, and Steven Zalian, who you'll know from Schindler's List, The Irishman, and Gangs of New York. Very great writing team here. The production came together very last minute on this. This is originally supposed to be either a David Frankel or a Soderbergh movie. And Soderbergh got the reins and was running with it. And it was going to use primarily the former players as themselves. and include like interviews during it. And Dimitri Martin was cast as Peter Brand.
As Jonah Hill's character.
Yeah, as Paul DiPodesta, which is really, really funny. And then it just got like pulled kind of like the month before they started shooting because they had a $58 million budget at the time. And then the studio was like, Soderbergh's making this thing way too artsy. And Dimitri Martin has a bowl cut.
Right.
And they were like, so it was too artsy for the amount of money they wanted to allocate. So they like pulled some out because they had to do a rush job. Boom, got Bennett Miller involved, got Sorkin and Zalian to kind of like put together this master screenplay and got it to Brad Pitt.
Also, the Oakland A's are no longer the Oakland A's. Right now, they're just the A's, and then they're moving to Vegas. And so we don't even know if they're going to still be the A's or the Athletics anymore. So in a way, this is kind of a swan song for that baseball team that still has not won a World Series since this movie or before it.
Yep.
The last one they won was 1989. The last one they went to was 1990.
The controversy, I guess you could say, around this movie is that several players weren't included at all in the Hollywood telling of the story, including Eric Chavez, who was like a Golden Glove third baseman, who was like leading hitter on that team. Miguel Tejada, who won MVP in 2002, the year the movie's about.
Yeah.
Tim Hudson, Mark Moldler, and then Barry Zito, who won Cy Young that year in 2002.
Yeah.
It's like if you watched it, you'd think Hatteberg was the best batter on the team or something, or Justice was.
Yeah.
But they just like kind of exclude these other players, mostly because all of those players were scouted in traditional ways. They weren't brought on the team in any sort of Moneyball analytical fashion.
Yeah.
And so those guys are just excluded, and you had the MVP and Cy Young. For a lot of baseball purists, they're like, well, great movie, but you don't even put Tejada in there.
They do mention Eric Chavez, though.
Very briefly.
They call him Chavi, too.
They call him Chavi, and it's like the scene where Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill are going room to room, like coaching the players.
I think it's the scene where Brad Pitt's walking through the locker room, and he's like, this, and then he's like, hey, Chavi, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he mentions that, and then he has him in the weight room at one point, and that's where he gives him the line, I hate losing more than I love to win or winning. He's in there just briefly, which is funny. And then Art Howe, obviously, is portrayed like an absolute dick weasel, cheese nose, dick brain in this, who like fights with Billy Bean the whole time. Apparently that wasn't the case. He wasn't in a contract year. He was like under contract for 2 more years after this. He said he never negotiated or fought with Bean directly, especially not in the hallways. And he was on board and supportive of sabermetrics and Moneyball in general. But, Bennett Miller chose to take some things with liberty, and it works. Like, I don't think you sacrifice like the integrity of the story.
And had you seen this movie before?
Yeah.
About how many times, you think?
Probably like 13.
13 times?
Like over a dozen. Like as I was watching it, I was like I could feel the beats. I knew like when the songs were gonna hit. Like I've seen this movie a lot.
Oh, this is my second watch.
Oh yeah.
But the first time I watched it, I got obsessed with baseball again for like a couple months.
It definitely does do that. And I think partially we chose to watch this right now because it is like the All-Star break. It's like right in the middle of the season. This is really when I kind of like tune into baseball.
Yeah, and Grant hasn't seen it, and he really should check it out.
Yeah, I guess.
Because of my hat and stuff. But like, yeah, Moneyball, great flick. And
great flick.
Grant should check it out because he hasn't seen it.
What position would Grant play?
First base.
He seems like a catcher.
Catcher, yeah. Catcher,
Call
first
in the
base,
game.
or like, yeah. Uh-huh.
Like spitting and talking shit to the batter.
But then if he like slims down a ton, like he could be like, it's when the first baseman or catcher moves to third base.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I can see him kind of an A-Rod.
Right, that's what I mean.
I see that too.
Yeah, uh-huh.
What, you're pitcher. You're built like a pitcher.
Shortstop.
No, your lateral quickness. No way.
Dude, I mean, come on. I used to be pitcher, shortstop, and I would sometimes play center field.
Right, so you'd be pitcher or center field now. I can see you in that.
I am good at shortstop.
Yeah, you're not.
What
I'm right field or DH.
I thought first base coach.
That'd be cool too. No, I'd like to be third base coach because I want to do that. Go home.
Right. Or concessions. I could see you at concessions.
Concessions.
Yeah.
I could see you dead on a highway.
You're going to die before me.
Okay, let's get into best lines. It is a Sorkin Zalian script or screenplay here, so it is like really sharp dialogue, very memorable lines, and it's like put together well. There's not a lot of wasted space. There's a couple lines where you're like, meh, and then every time Brad Pitt's daughter's on the screen, you're like, this is a waste of time. Let me hear that sweet crack of the bat. Some of my favorite lines come from the initial scene of Brad Pitt kind of in the room with the old guard scouts, and that's like the best exposition in this movie. The way these old dudes are talking about baseball, and you see Brad Pitt like moaning and groaning kind of. They're like, his girlfriend's a 6. You know what an ugly girlfriend means? He lacks confidence. And then they're talking about players they like, and he swings. You can hear it all around the park. And when he walks in a room, his dick's already been in there. And they just have all these like stupid, antiquated like phrases that like convince them whether a player's good or not. He has to be either like hot, cool, good girlfriend, and then like the way he swings, they talk about it like poetically or abstract. I love all the lines of dialogue in that scene.
Yeah, and just to clear it up, when he says old guard scouts, he means old athletics scouts.
Yeah.
And not the guards, because like the Cleveland Guardians, it's not the scouts for that team, because that wouldn't make any sense.
The old guard of like baseball is what I mean.
Yeah, and again, that's, it's still for the athletics, not for the guards.
Yeah, go guards.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of like individual lines from this. I have like some dynamics that I really, really like about it. Like, I just love Brad Pitt's physical comedy in this. It is like unbelievable what he does. He's constantly snacking, spitting stuff out. He's like clicking stuff, like throwing stuff. It is legitimately such a comedic performance. Yeah. He is the funniest part of the movie consistently throughout, and everything else is happening around him. And it is that like serious, almost like it reminds me of a Soderbergh movie in a certain way. I like that in spirit, it's a sports movie, but on screen, what you're seeing is so much more like the belly of it. It has like the aesthetics and things of a sports movie, but like it's all in the back. Yeah. Everything's happening like in the building, not on the field. Right. There are like few on the field moments, and those are exciting, but it's more about like these human conversations and this guy who is kind of like not gone rogue, but decided to go against the grain. Yeah. And is still playing the game in the way that he talks to people. Yeah. It is very dominating. Like he is like hanging up on people, being like, you got 5 minutes. I love when he goes, he's like, we want Michelson. And he's like, Anderson. He's like, see, I don't even know his name. Yeah. I don't care about him. You don't know who he is. Yeah. Like it is like they made it a point that he doesn't even watch baseball or care about it more than a business. Yeah. He's like almost put baseball in the rearview mirror because he wasn't a player who turned out to be as good as he should have been. And so now to him, he wants to find a way to change that game that did him wrong or whatever. But yeah, I love Brad Pitt's performance in this, in the way that he interacts with all of his surroundings.
I love the line when he's like drunk at home, and it's after he meets Paul Brand or Peter Brand. Initially, he gives him a call and he's drunk at home and he goes, "Would you have taken me in the first round?" He's like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, "Be honest, come on." He says, "Yes, I would have taken you in the first round." And then Brad Pitt presses him. He goes, "No, I would have taken you in the 9th round, no signing bonus. And I imagine you would have taken the scholarship." And he's like, "Pack your bags. You're coming on with me." Yeah. Billy Bean's approach is interesting because it's not only pioneering like the way he embraces Moneyball, he's also a former player or like a defunct player that becomes manager, which is like new in the front office positions at that time. And so all that physical comedy and the way he like behaves, he's like fidgeting around like a jock that's like forced to be in boss business role, like throwing peanuts back, spitting on the floor, chomping on he works out during all the games. And like he's explaining to the players, it's a process. And then there's a hard cut to him like jogging on the field. And it's like, that's a great little, like those mixed metaphors there of like working out takes a long time. You know, this is a process. It's going to take a long time. He just like plays it so well.
He also thinks he's bad luck. And so he doesn't like to watch the games. Yeah. Because he thinks if he watches them, they're going to lose.
Yeah. And it really is like, it's just a business movie. Like you said, like it's not really a traditional sports movie. 95% of the sports we get on it is just the characters watching it on TV. Like you get the 20th game or whatever with the walk-off home run, but like the rest of it is just like catching glimpses on TV, walking by a room, listening to it on the radio, in the truck while doing donuts, which is awesome.
Yeah, he loves doing that. Yeah. My favorite line in the entire movie has to be, I don't know why this sticks out to me, but they're talking to Hatterberg, telling him that he's going to play first base. They're in his house.
Yeah.
And so this is Billy Bean and Ron Washington.
Yep.
I think is his name. Hatterberg says to them, like, I'm going to replace Giambi. And then they're like, yes. And then he's like, what about the fans? And then there's like a little beat. And Ron Washington says, yeah, what about the fans? Maybe we could teach one of them to play first base. And it seems truly like Brad Pitt wasn't expecting him to say that. So then he's like, good one. And then like it continues talking to Hatterberg, but it's just so funny in that moment because I was just like, it really on screen feels like you're watching an improv moment. It's great.
Ron Washington, very comedic too. Ended up going to 2 World Series as the manager of the Rangers.
Yeah.
That's how most people know him. And then I think he most recently won a title with the Phillies as a third base coach or something.
Yeah, I don't know. He smoked crack, though.
Yeah, which is awesome. So did Aaron Sorkin. So that's probably why maybe there's some synergy there in the screenplay or whatever. I love the early line that really lets you know, like, Jonah Hill's or Peter Brand's character is like this shaky, Ivy League guy. Like, kind of, you get the feeling he's being like pushed around by jocks the whole time. And he's like, shut up, nerd. You don't know ball like we do. Billy Bean is asked him to do 3 player analyses before he shows up. And he shows up and his office is already set up and he's like, wow, you move in quick. And then he hands him a sheet of paper and is like, here's those player analyses you asked for and analyses. And he's like, I asked you to do 3. How many did you do? He says, 47. 51. I don't know why I just lied.
Yeah, I don't know why I lied about that. Sorry, sir.
A lie just to make it like marginally smaller.
Yeah.
That's just a good Jonah Hill line.
I love when he's talking to David Justice and David Justice is asking him all the questions on the plane and whatever. And then David Justice ends it by just being like, all right, we're good.
He says, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done.
On his headphones.
Yeah, he just cut, like, I love the dismissal of him. Like nobody understands why a 25-year-old is assistant GM of the Oakland Athletics, so it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah.
But then all the players are like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And it's great that they feel like they can just tune him out. I also just love in that original scene when they bring him on and it is the old guard in the room with Billy Bean and then his new assistant GM. And then he's asking Jonah Hill the questions, like, he goes, all right, what is the on-base percentage for this guy? And then he's like, he's just snapping and pointing at Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's answering. But I love at the beginning when he does that, he goes, do you want me to answer you now? And then he's like, yeah, when I point at you, that's when I want you to talk. That's when I want you to talk.
Why do we like him? Because he gets on base.
Yeah.
I love during that scene, they're talking about Bradford, who has the submarine pitch.
Yeah.
And one of the old scouts says, no, Billy, you don't want him. He's a freak. And not in a good way, which is hilarious because it's like goes 2 ways. Because like you could say he's like a freak athlete, or there's like the dirty way of hearing that line where you're like, oh, he's freaky.
Yeah,
Bradford's a freak.
And then I love also when they tell him like some sort of flaw in one of the players. I forget what it is.
Yeah.
And then Brad Pitt's like, do I care about that? And points at him. He goes, no, you do not.
Yeah.
It's just great that he uses him. So he's so confident and is just like using his little robot nerd to help him.
My favorite like physical comedy moment from Billy Bean is when Art Howe is constantly starting Pena, their like rookie of the year candidate. And he can't get him to like play Hatterberg. That's like the batting of their heads this whole movie. And they just like, again, reach a bitter end to a conversation. Brad Pitt hits the desk and is like, good meeting. Every time we talk, I am reinvigorated for my love of the game. And he turns around and goes,
yeah. When he's walking out, he goes,
yeah, like he's like skipping away with joy.
Reinvigorated by my love of the game.
When he's teaching Jonah Hill's character how to cut players. And he goes, would you rather have a bullet in the head or 5 to the chest and bleed to death? And Jonah Hill goes, are those my only 2 options? That's like great Sorkin writing.
Yeah.
Like the quip back between 2 characters is so good.
Oh,
like
yeah.
There's moments between Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill that like remind me of the comedy in The West Wing where they'll be like talking about something really serious and someone's like, well, what about? You're like, oh, Jesus. Yeah. It makes it feel like very real because even in like serious situations, for a movie that is a sports movie that is like, yes, you always like picture that. There's not like too much melodrama in this. Like you do get the 20th game, but it did come down to that. But there's not a lot of like, you gotta do it. And you gotta dig deep and we'll win. There's like always some sort of comedic relief, which is nice. It makes it feel very real.
I love where Chris Pratt was in his career in this movie because it is so funny that he's like this like nervous, injury-prone baseball player who has no confidence at all, and Brad Pitt's just big dogging him, and then trying to teach him not how to be a better baseball player, to be like a likable guy.
Confident,
Yeah, he's literally just like, just greet people.
He's like, socialize,
man.
man.
Walk around, ask people how they're doing.
I love that too. Like he gives similar advice to Justice while he's in the batting cage.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't need you to be what the Yankees paid you to be or whatever. I need you to just be a veteran and get these guys to buy in. And then the next scene is Justice walking in on Hatterberg in the kitchen, and he's like, Hattie, picking machine.
Yeah.
What's going on? And he like makes a little bowl of cereal, and he's like, what's your biggest fear out there, man? Chris Pratt's like, having a baseball hit in my general direction. And he like laughs, and he's like, no, really? And he's like, no, really, that's it. And then he walks away, and he's trying to be a leader, and he's like, it'll be all right, man.
Yeah. He's like, just try to stay confident.
Yeah. They all like pick up a little slack, but they're all like really awkward at it. At the very end, there's a couple more memorable lines when Billy Beane goes to interview for the Boston Red Sox manager job that come from the owner of the Red Sox. He says, first guy through the wall always gets bloody, which is just a cool line. And prior to that, Billy Beane says, I believe science might solve the curse of the Bambino, which is a great line. He's like, why are you here? He's like, it's the Red Sox. It's history. And I think science might be able to solve the curse of the Bambino. Because at that time, they haven't won since whatever, 1918 or something.
Which is Babe Ruth threw a piano in the river or something. And then they didn't win the World Series for 600 years.
And it's crazy that at that point, they did hire Bill James, who Sabermetrics is based off of. And then during Bill James' 17 years after that, working at the Red Sox, they win 4 World Series. Oh, yeah. Numbers.
Yeah. Last one that I want to bring up is just Spike Jonze has an uncredited cameo where he plays the new husband of Brad Pitt's ex-wife, of Billy Beane's ex-wife. And he is like, oh, hey, how's it going? He's like a really like soft-spoken, like almost effeminate character. And then he just goes, so what about, you guys lost Giambini?
Giambini?
He's talking about Giambi.
Things are really peaceful around here. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Do you have any scenes that aged poorly in this?
Yeah.
Like what?
How about the song? The daughter, okay, his daughter in this movie, I understand that they're trying to like, I don't know, like tie the story to his fatherhood, which obviously they're divorced parents, and he's spending time with his daughter, and he's like in the music store with her, then she plays a song for him. This song is a song that everybody recognizes, but it came out in 2008 by an Australian band, and this movie is set in 2002, and his daughter didn't write it.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, that's a good song. You should record it.
Yeah.
And then she does record it and play, but I don't like, it's so dumb.
I agree it is dumb, but I mean, it's not like it played well in 2011. It didn't age bad, it's just a bad scene.
Well, yeah, okay, fine. It aged bad because the song came out in 2008, the movie came out in 2011, the movie was set in 2002, and now it's 2025, and I'm like, did Billy Beane's daughter write that song? And then I have to look it up and find out that some Australian band did it, and it's a huge hit, and it has nothing to do with that. There's people watching this that are like, did Billy Beane, the GM of the Oakland A's, did his daughter write that song?
Yeah. You need like the sweetness development of like whatever Brad Pitt's like personal life to some degree. I didn't like the father angle. I would have liked, I don't know. You get like the sweet call from his ex-wife at the one point of like, I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
Or I didn't expect you to pick up. Like you did a really good job. And I think that does more like emotional context for me than like any scene with his daughter. I'm not like, oh, he cares about his daughter. And then that makes me like him more as a character.
How real is it though? I mean, like he probably just had a daughter, and so they wrote that
I guess
into it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, she's like, turn around and go to the stadium. You aren't gonna jinx it. Like, go back to the stadium. They're up 11-0. Yeah. She doesn't say that. He finds out, and then he's like, all right. He turns around, goes, and then of course the Royals come back and tie it 11-11, and there's a walk-off from Hatterberg. It's great, but like, obviously all of this is dramatized. Yeah. I'm just kind of like, the song did not need to be a real song. They should have written one for this movie. Yeah. It would have worked so much better than that. And all she does is change the lyrics at the end of the song to, "You're such a loser, Dad." Yeah. And in the original song, it's I want my money back. My interpretation of it is that she put that at the end of the song because she didn't think he would listen to the whole thing. So it is like you're such a loser, Dad. You're such a loser, Dad. If he gets to that point, he'll have to say something about it. Then she'll know that he listened to it. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't know. It's just dumb.
There's a lot of good scenes in this. Like I mentioned early, the old scouts talking about stuff, the paper at the desk, and old men flipping through things, and they're going to AA games and scouting people or high school players and scouting them. Even like the scene when Billy Bean is young and he's being recruited by the Mets, and they like slide him the check. And they're like, and I think that number expresses how much we believe in you. And then you have to explain to him that he can't go to Stanford, and he's like left with that decision. Awesome scene. The first meeting with the Indians is so good.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
That room, like when he gets in there and it's like two rich baseball guys, one a lot less rich than the other. And he's, with all due respect, even if you could afford him, we love him around here. We're not going to give him up. And the way he offers mild interest and then like looks behind Billy Bean. The guy goes, and then like word travels telephone on the outskirts of the wall. And then Jonah Hill goes in the ear of a guy who goes in the ear of the Indians GM. And he goes, actually, we're not going to be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
And like all that happening, he's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
That scene is so good.
I love the scene with David Justice doing batting practice. Yeah. I really like that. That pivot needs to happen at that part in the movie.
Yeah.
Where he's like, I've never seen any GM speak to players like this. And then he's like, you've never talked to a GM who was once a player.
Right.
Like, who is a player. And then he's kind of like, here's what I need from you. He's like, we're not paying you for the player you used to be. We're paying you for the player you are right now.
Right.
And that whole thing really does change everything, because then it also brings up the whole, like, it's in another scene, but he talks about like paying $1 for soda in the locker room. And then that gets like added to a deal later where he's like, I want soda for my guys. I want it stocked for 3 years. And then he's like, I also love, there's so many movies where you hear the other end of the phone calls. You don't in this one. And that makes it feel so much more realistic, where like there's so much of like Jonah Hill, Brad Pitt phone call. You're hearing what Brad Pitt says, and then he's looking at him, and then he's like muting it and being like, get me a name. And then he gets in the name. He's like, all right. He goes, all right, we want this guy. Whatever. He goes, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, you're waiting for the response, and you just see.
Yes.
Like that. There's so much of that I love, because it feels like really being in the room when those deals are being made.
And in those deal scenes, in the Indian scene, he's eating peanuts right out of the guy's bowl, and it's almost like a power movie, scooping handfuls the whole time. Can't get a deal done. And then later, when they're trying to do the Rincon deal, which is one of my favorite scenes, if not my favorite scene in it, he's just like going through the statistics. He's going through Bradford's statistics, and he realizes like he needs another reliever to put him over the limit, and then going into that room and trying to make that trade. He's shoveling popcorn down, and then when he finally gets the deal, he just goes, spits it all on the ground for no reason, which is just awesome. His recruitment of post the Cleveland Indians meeting, he goes up to Jonah Hill's cubicle, and that's a great scene. He like, kind of like is overbearing. He's like taller than Jonah Hill. He's like sitting up on his desk. He's like, who are you?
He goes, what happened in there?
Yeah, what happened?
What happened in there? Why are they listening to you?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I did economics.
Yeah. And then he like asks him to leave, to go to the parking lot so he can tell him what's really happening. He's like, there's a gross miscalculation of what's going on over the league and value and all this stuff. But it's like he's telling him like classified information. And then all the like movie freaks always point out in that scene that like in that room when Brad Pitt walks in, he walks by like all these baseball greats, and then like they're framed having that conversation about new Saber metrics being implemented in the game by like DiMaggio and Babe Ruth and like these guys of the old league, and how they're like the new faces of change, which is a cool little detail.
I've never been in an office of a major sports organization where they have anybody on the walls except for players who played for that franchise. And so that is like, it's just, I've only been in a few. I've been like in the Knicks, I've been in the Cavs, I've been in the Indians. And I'm like, it's always just like, if you're going to the Indians, it's going to be Bob Feller and you know, Lou Boudreau, like it's going to be all the actual greats that played, that Manny Ramirez. But, and then like when you're in the Knicks, it's like, you know, it's
Patrick
gonna,
Ewing,
it's all of that. And so I was like, okay, it's good framing. But I'm telling you, they don't have Joe DiMaggio and Babe Ruth up in the Cleveland Indians. Like that's not happening.
All the stats montages are really good, especially the initial one, like when he's explaining why whatever works and all these things. It's almost like Adam McKay like it gives me
That's who I was thinking of earlier. It reminds me of an Adam McKay movie in a certain way.
What's the one about the economy falling apart, the housing bubble?
Big Time Rush.
It is something like that.
The Big Short.
Big Short, yeah, Big Time Short. It gives me Big Short vibes when Christian Bale's crunching numbers. He's like, it's a bubble, and you're like,
yeah.
And it's like you're not even really picking it up as you're seeing it on the screen.
The code thing makes sense too, like the way that they're breaking it down. I was thinking about this, about how it like spoon feeds you a little bit. If you're like, it's making it like digestible for dumb people.
Yeah.
Like myself. I mean, like people who just don't know like sports analytics. And it's like, it gives you 3 players and then gives you the average of their on base percentage. And then gives you, we need 3 guys at this average number instead of one guy at this, one guy at this, one guy at this. And like that to me makes it like, oh, that's how they're doing this, is they're filling 3 seats to make up for 1 seat that was so big, you know, whatever. I'm like, oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, it is. We already talked about it, but when they sign Hatteberg literally off his couch, I like that as like a scene because that's like a classic sports phrase. It's like, oh, he was signed off his couch last week. A guy who's like almost retired, but a free agent who's like sitting down watching ESPN, and then you come into his house and they literally sign him out of his own living room.
And I do love also that like he has like something wrong with his elbow or something.
It's like nerve damage in his elbow and fingers.
Where he can't throw very well, and they move him to first base. They don't talk about why, but that makes so much sense. They have to throw the least. Yeah. If you're at first base, you have to catch the ball a lot more than you have to throw it. And I was like, oh, that's actually like an interesting way to take a catcher off the couch, who was had a good on base percentage and made sense for the team, but you couldn't play him at catcher because he couldn't throw anybody out.
And then kind of the climactic scene of the movie is the winning streak, and that goes on for some time, and then it ends with game 20. I love the win column, and you hear like Alex Van Pelt talking and like all these people on ESPN, and then it gets to the 20th game, and the sound design in the 20th game is really cool. A lot of the crowd gets cut out and cut back in. It's silent when things are going bad, or even when they're going good.
When there's a hit, it'll go silent immediately. It's like you just hear the crack of the bat, and then it's like nothing. And then like and then they bring in the Explosions in the Sky song, which we'll talk about later, but like, the sound design's great in that part.
As you said, like how you like the batting cage with David Justice, that's kind of Billy Bean taking the character turn that he sets up for himself in the beginning of like, I don't mingle with the players because it makes it easier to cut. He gets so invested in their strategy they're trying to do that he has to get hands-on, and he does start mingling and like forming relationships. Art Howe, or Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, finally hits his turning point in the 20th game, because the guy he's refused to trust all year, he pinch hits in the bottom of the 9th, ends up hitting the home run. And then it's like, now everybody's changed. Yeah. Like kind of completely. And that's like what propels them to the great season.
But they do explain, the announcers do, why Art Howe would do that in that moment is like, this guy walks the most on the team. They need to get somebody on base in the bottom of the 9th, you know, whatever. I like that it's like, they don't do an unrealistic turn of Art Howe's mind. This is...
Yeah, he's not like, oh, shucks.
No, he's not like... Hatteberg is the guy. He's going out to hit a home run. He's like, Hatteberg could get walked, and that gives us runners on base.
But that's him like finally being convinced by the analytics. He's like, oh, you know what we need here? Someone to get on. He gets on base. Like, he's like finally buying into the philosophy, and it's cool. That's him not being like, well, we got to put our best guy forward.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman absolutely disappears into this role, by the way. Like, you forget it's him.
Yeah,
like,
he's so good, dude.
It is unbelievable. I'm like, oh, that's just a baseball manager.
Because in reality, if you told me like, oh, picture Philip Seymour Hoffman in a full manager's uni, with a belly and his feet up, I'd be like, that's funny. But by the time it gets to that scene, I'm like, God, that guy's hard driving baseball manager. Like that's Skip. That's a skipper.
Yeah, that's a skipper right there.
Dude, he's the best ever, maybe.
Yeah, he's really, really good.
Pretty easy one.
BP.
Yeah. I think this is his best role ever. Like this and Once Upon a Time are like, they're very different.
Fight Club?
I don't know. This is way better. This is like more. Fight Club, he's good, but he's like, it's kind of one-dimensional.
Yeah.
This is like a dude. Like he becomes Billy Bean here.
I'm trying to think. Burn After Reading, he's hilarious in.
He's hilarious in it.
yeah.
He's good in most things.
Once
like,
Upon a Time in Hollywood is like definitely up there.
That's like right there for me because that's like, I don't know, that character is more dynamic, but it's also a Tarantino movie. So it has like these like, you know, ridiculous otherworldly things. This movie's so like real and like to depict like a true character, a historical character, like this believable and well. I don't know. It's really, really good.
I agree with everything that you're saying, except for like it's just Brad Pitt doing Brad Pitt though. I know he's Billy Bean, but I'm saying like we don't know the real Billy Bean. So much of this is Brad Pitt doing what he does best, which is like great timing, confident, like,
yeah,
you know, it is a little bit of some of his other characters.
Yeah, but he's so different. I don't know. I feel like Brad Pitt doing Brad Pitt or pitching right down the middle is like Ocean's 11.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of that in this character is what I mean.
I don't know. I don't really get
There
it.
is a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is just my take on it. But I think it's the best performance in the movie. It's amazing. But it's like, I think it's because I like him doing that. I like him doing what he does in this movie.
Him and Jonah Hill being nominated in the same movie is awesome too. That's like it's a wild moment.
Jonah Hill is great in this movie too.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Really
good. I said it wouldn't. It's the same story. It's a timeless movie. It's about a thing that happened.
Yeah.
It's loosely based on, like, there's obviously details that are different, but like, you know, it's based on the 2002 Oakland Athletics. So there's not much that would have to change about it.
Yeah. Chris Pratt was too fat for the role, apparently. He had to lose 30 pounds in like 2 months to get
he's
this
too
role.
jacked now and too Republican and
Can't
religious.
be too Republican for baseball.
Well, yeah, but too Republican to be cast in the movie, I think.
Maybe.
I don't think that they would want that. You know?
I said it could be about the Tigers because they're kind of doing the new Moneyball.
What's there? Yeah, you told me some new stuff.
They're like exploiting the league in a way or whatever, doing a new thing where they've invested like 20 times more than any other team in coaching, all the way down to like single A. And so they have like the most in-depth development of players, like down to each player, what each player needs just to like turn the edge a little bit. Like famously taught Scooble new pitches and a new kick like 2 years ago. And now he's like one of the greatest pitchers ever.
Yeah.
And so, and that just all their like coaching, and they've been running cards out to people.
I was going to say, this is what I heard about is like the Bat Boys, I guess, are running cards out to people that tell them something.
Like per opposing batter, like guys in the outfield and infield and pitching will get different cards. And it's like, all right, against this pitcher in this situation with one man on and 2 outs, he's going to go here 60% of the times given these pitches. And so they'll get like the pitch signals of their own team. If they know that, everybody adjusts. And if you watch the Tigers play defense this year, majority of their outs, like no one even has to move. They got it down so much. It's like, turn a double play. Or like a guy in the outfield, like you'll see it. Like when you're watching it, you'll be like, that's weird. The right fielder's like on the first baseman.
Yeah.
The left fielder has shifted over and the center field's playing like a double shortstop. And then the ball will be like, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And other teams are starting to follow suit and baseball's caught on. And now basically they were able to do that because there's no like salary cap or like expenditure limit in coaching or development. And so they were just like, fuck that. We don't have the money to give players like the Yankees do or whatever. It's what makes it Moneyball-esque. They were like, we'll spend all this money on coaching because the MLB is not even tracking it. And then so they've been able to develop like all their farm system and stuff better than anyone else. And now they've made like a coaching salary cap.
Right, because the Astros also had that. They were spending a bunch of money on drums.
Big drums.
Big keg drums in the bullpen. And they said, no more of that. Music has no place in baseball.
If you're unfamiliar with the Astros cheating scandal, that is like the most, it's like cavemen figured out how to cheat.
Yeah.
Because I remember the footage came out and I was like, no way. They were putting barrels deep in the bullpen center field and they would like see the pitch sign from the other team and then they'd go, dum, dum. And the guy at the plate would be like, here comes the fastball. 2 clicks means curveball.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And they won the World Series that year.
They won the World Series, yeah. I can't wait for the train wreck. The Houston Astros drums in the bullpen scandal. Train wreck on Netflix.
Banging in the outfield or something.
It's gonna be. It's gonna. Yeah.
Devils in the outfield.
Whoa! Devils in the details in the outfield.
Booyaka, shall respect me.
Yeah. What are we gonna call Moneyball for the Tigers? Is it gonna be like? What do they? They gotta come up with a catchy name like that for it.
Okay.
I was asking you.
Why am I the guy who's making the name of the movie?
No one else is here.
I don't care. I'm not the movie man. Grant's here. Grant, what would we call Moneyball
Well,
for
yeah,
Tigers? Growl.
Growl.
That's the name of the. No, I'm
We
not
could
saying the name
call
of the
it-
movie. I'm saying the name of like the idea, like the strategy.
I was saying the movie could be War, but with like the period before it, because it's like the baseball
Dot
stat.
war, yeah.
Dot War would be pretty cool. But like
Okay.
maybe the name of the strategy could be Tiger's Ball.
Yeah, Tiger Ball, I think makes a lot of sense.
Tiger Ball's
Tiger
good.
Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, Tiger King was such a big hit, so Tiger Ball could
Grab
be.
it by the Tiger's balls.
Yeah.
Let's do a recast.
I got Matthew McConaughey as Billy Bean,
That's good.
Paul Dano as Brand.
That works.
I know you hate him, but
No, that
would
works.
make sense.
Yeah.
And then me as Scott Hatterberg. I get to hit the big home run.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I did
I'm
a-
wearing the hat, so
Yeah, yeah.
like for that. So like,
Right.
a lot of people would have to buy a new hat to play the character. I wouldn't have to. I
Well,
already
and
have
you're
the
a
hat.
big, strong Republican now, so that works.
I'm not a Republican, but
Yeah,
no, I'm not
it's
ever.
perfect right now,
I'm never
and then-
going to be.
No, that's until you get a big role in a movie.
Unless
like
I'm
this.
in like the new version of Parks and Rec, and then I get too big for my britches, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden I have to become Christian again.
I have more of a serious recap. I have Adam Sandler as Billy Bean. John Goodman as Art Howe.
like
Philip
that.
Seymour Hoffman's role. He's the mean old baseball manager.
like that.
I have Big Justice as Hatterberg because there's already a Justice. He plays baseball. He could go in and hit the dinger. And like them signing a kid would be like crazy.
Like, what the hell?
And then I have Seth Green as Brand.
Seth Green. Oh, from like Robot Chicken? Is that his name?
Yeah, from Robot Chicken. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
No, I
there.
know. I'm just like I'm placing it. Yeah. Okay.
Austin Powers.
Sure. Yeah. No.
Up a creek without a paddle.
It's just called Without a Paddle.
You're called that.
It's called Without a
You
Paddle.
call it that. Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
No, I know.
He does the voice of Meg in Family Guy, I'm pretty sure.
No, nope. That's
Yeah.
just Chris. But yeah.
Sure.
Listen,
Yeah.
you just I'm only being critical because your recast was perfect up through that, and so I'm
Yeah.
a little just confused by the Seth Green choice.
I
that's
think
all.
it works.
Green is one of the colors for the Ace. Yeah.
I mostly think of him like he played in a lot of roles early 2000s as like the hacker or the tech guy. Agent John, you're going to want to take a look at this.
Yeah.
He's like, explain that, nerd. So I feel like as the nerdy guy, he'd be good with numbers.
I feel like he'd be cracking too many jokes.
You don't know him like I do.
I think Paul Dano would be really good because he's quiet and creepy.
And he has a bowl cut, just like Dimitri Martin.
He doesn't have a bowl cut.
He does now.
Does he?
Well, he did when he played Brian Wilson in the documentary about the Beach Boys.
Yeah, he just signed on to do the biopic for Oliver Tree, so I'm assuming he
Nice.
still has it.
Yeah, I hope so.
For a baseball movie, the most important thing is to have a great score.
Oh, nice. I don't know why you said it like that, but I like it.
And let me tell you, hell of a run for this score on the Hot 100. I don't know about that, but they did have explosions in the sky in that one part.
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
It's awesome. This whole it got nominated for sound and mixing for a reason. Like it's
Is that? I don't think that's about the music.
you don't know. I mean, I'm sure they mixed the sound into it or the score.
There's a reason the movie was called The Sound of Music, not The Sound of Mixing.
Yeah, Michael Dana is the guy who does the score in this and Capote and Foxcatcher, and I think, like I said, these three movies do have like a similar way that the plot like unfolds to me, and I think a lot of the score in all three of those movies like just kind of like gradually works, and especially in this one, I feel like it's really emphasized by that like it's a process, trust the process, we're losing, I'm working out, and then we start to win, and then it gets somewhere, and it never quite like flourishes, but it just kind of like is this little momentum like all throughout, and it makes the movie move at like this really good pace and like carries the emotion with it, and it's really, really good. It's dynamic and it's awesome. And if you want to see Philip Seymour Hoffman talk like a gay guy for 3 hours, you should watch Capote. It's one of the hardest accents to watch a whole movie for. He's like, oh, I'm talking about, I'm writing through blood. It's insane. It's like a 1920s gay guy. I didn't mean it like a gay guy. It wasn't a broad sweeping accusation. I guess if you want to see Philip Seymour Hoffman talk like Truman Capote, watch the movie Capote. That's what I mean.
I just want it to be on record that you basically said it would be really hard to
Listen
listen
to
to a gay guy for 2 hours.
a 1920s gay guy.
No, totally.
A
But yeah.
1920s rich author gay guy socialite.
Right. You're just adding more
But
words.
that's what makes it hard.
I know, but you worked up from gay guy.
I realized that, and then I realized that it needed some guidelines, just like our freak offs.
Yeah, the NRFOs, no rules, but they do have
They're freaking
they're
guidelines.
they're freaking guidelines. I absolutely would.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like every self-respecting man in the state of Michigan has seen the movie, so I don't know who else I'm gonna tell.
Yeah.
I guess girls, yeah, women.
Yeah,
and
I said
non-binary
shut up.
folks, yeah. Huh?
I said shut up.
Oh, like, would you recommend it? Shut
up.
Of course.
Like, don't ask me that.
Don't ask me stupid questions.
Should I invest in Uber? Shut up.
I gave this movie 4.5 stars, and I said I want to fuck a baseball.
Nice. Might be the first time we've ever given a movie the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's hard not to be romantic about baseball, and so that's why I wrote I want to fuck a baseball.
Yeah, you've always been a romantic. I too gave it 4.5 stars, and I said if only DePodesta could do something with the Browns. Money Browns.
How involved was he in the Deshaun stuff?
I mean, he's our chief strategist. I'd like to think probably quite a bit.
I'd like not to think that, but I guess it seems like.
Unless some people say that it was Jimmy Haslam was just go hung. Is go hung racist?
I don't think it's gung ho. So
Go hung.
It's gung ho, and you said go hung.
Yeah. So he's like gung. He was really is gung ho racist?
I don't know.
Go hung is definitely racist.
Yeah, what you said.
That's
is
me
for sure.
saying go hung.
Yeah.
So gung ho, no.
I don't know.
Okay, well then I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, go for it.
A lot of people think Jimmy Haslam, the owner, was just really gung hoing about it.
Yeah.
You're a gung ho. I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels racist.
It does. Yeah.
I'm a gong ho. When I hear a gong
No.
ho, I'm a slut. No.
Here's my impression of Graydon watching American Idol auditions back in the early 2000s. Go hung.
I knew
Talking
you'd
about
get there.
William Hung.
Woo! I knew you'd get there, man.
She bang. She bang.
move.
She go crazy. She move. Okay.
That was Moneyball.
Whatever. That was Moneyball. That was How Did It Age? I think, God, thank you so much for all the support on Patreon and YouTube members. Oh, wow. You really didn't have to, but you did, and that's awesome.
Drop some movie suggestions down in the comments. We do be reading them. And if you're in the Patreon or a YouTube member, comment on like when we post a week ahead of time too. We often reference those and we try to appease your little minds.
And go comment on Grant's Instagram and tell him to watch this. It's at Meeker Grant on Instagram.
He would love it.
Press the follow button and then comment on his recent post and say, you should check out Moneyball. Great flick.
I'm getting a phone call.
Okay.
Oh, it's the Yankees. Hold on. I got to take this.
Okay.
We want Judge. They won't give him up. He's too good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
right.
It's a lifetime appointment for that Judge. He's going to be on the Yankees forever. All right. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, baseball. You're out. I'm trying to do Labubu stuff.
I know.
And you don't want to talk about it.
I do. I was waiting for you to bring up Labubu stuff.
That's all I want to do.
All right, then talk about Labubu.
I like them, and there's no black ones.
Oh, shit. I didn't even think about that.
There's not a single black Labubu, and today we're going to talk about why those demonic little toys you strap to your belts are racist.
Before Labubu, back in our day, we had Honey Boo Boo.
She was fucking lit, and now she's dead, which sucks.
Is she?
Yeah. She died in 9/11.
No.
Yes, she did. It was 2007, but it was 9/11.
It was on 9/11 in 2007.
On 9/11
in 2007.
Honey Boo
Man, I
Boo.
feel like heaven. Labubu's up in heaven, yeah.
Honey Boo Boo's up in heaven.
Honey
Boo
Boo Boo's
are
up
down
in
here on
heaven.
Earth. No, they're demonic.
Labubu came up from hell.
Yep.
Yeah.